Good morning, everybody. So today I'm going to do a little driving video, and I'm going to talk about the budget. I'm going to make this in a couple of different parts because it can get overwhelming and I can get off on little rabbit trails, and then the video goes on so long that everybody's like, oh, fuck this. Anyway, so first part of this is going to be about the budget, getting started on a budget, because it can be overwhelming if you've never done a budget before. Let me get in the street here. Now, a lot of people will say that they are on a budget, but in reality, it's just something that they have in their head. It's not written. If you're on a budget, a real budget, it has to be written down. Just doing a budget in your head is more like living paycheck to paycheck, I guess I should say. So in order to get on a written budget, first you have to know where your money is going. And in order to find out where your money is going, it takes some time, some math, and some real hard looks at your bank account. And so whenever I did this several years ago, I went back a year through my bank account to see where I was spending my money. Now, if you rent, you really don't have to go back a year because it doesn't apply to you. People that own homes have annual things or things that come out throughout the year to pay for, like repairs and that kind of thing. So, you know, unless you have things that you know that only come up once a year, 3 to 6 months will probably be good. So what I did is I went back a year and to see where my money was going. And the way that I did that was that I made several different lists. I'm a list maker, so that was not a hard part of it. I put everything in its own category. Now, there are a couple of categories, a couple of lists or categories that were kind of ambiguous, like things that you didn't know what category to put them in. I would just put them in miscellaneous. Electricity is an easy one. Your other utilities, very easy to put them in their own category. Rent or mortgage, that kind of thing. So that was the first part. So what I did was I listed everything in that category, and then I added it up, and then I divided it by 12. So that was my average of what I spent all year for that category. Now, if you're only doing 3 months, obviously you would divide it by 3, or if you were doing 6 months, you would divide it by 6, okay? The reason for this is that when you make your budget is made 1 month at a time, and hopefully a month or two ahead of time, so that you know where your money will be going. Now, with the history, you're looking at where your money has been going. So when I added my budget up, my categories, and I put them in the different columns or categories, whatever you want to call it, I found that my food category was way, way higher than I had budgeted in my head. In my head, it was not nearly that much. I think I ended up averaging like almost $700 a month for food. And back then, what I would do, besides going to the grocery store, is I would get out money every week, cash from the bank, from the ATM, and I would spend that on stuff every day or every other day, or going out to eat, or going to the convenience store, the gas station, or whatever. And in my head, it wasn't adding up to very much, but I usually spent it all, so it was gone. So there you go. So like I said, I was averaging about $700 a month for what I called the food budget. And it was kind of, it may not have been that much, because when you go to Walmart, you don't pay for your food separate from your toiletries or other things, like if you got to buy, I don't know, a shovel or something like that. So it may have been actual food may have been way less than that. Anyway, so I got all my categories, I divided them up by 12. I know what I was spending on average per month, right? So what's next? At this point, you're going to create your, what I call the past budget. So I use the EveryDollar app, and if you don't like the EveryDollar app, you can switch over to other budget apps. EveryDollar app has a free version. I've used it about 5 years. In the beginning, it was budget light because I would forget to put things in it and all that, and so I didn't start being diligent with it until about 2 years ago. Anyway, so what I did was I got the EveryDollar app, and I put all those numbers in the EveryDollar app for each one of those categories or lists. And I didn't tweak it or try to cut it down or anything. I wanted actual numbers of what I spent. And according to that budget, I was spending everything I made. Well, that was pretty obvious because, I wasn't saving any money. So what I did next was I looked at each one of those line items in the EveryDollar app on my budget, and I decided, okay, what can I cut back on or cut out altogether? And at that point, I found that I had lots of things that I spent money on that were unnecessary. I bought a lot of stuff from Amazon that I didn't even use, that were sitting in the closet or the garage or whatever. So I set myself a limit of what I could spend on Amazon. I don't remember what I was spending at the time, so I'm just going to pick a number out of the air. I'm going to say $100 now. I set my budget at $100 per month. For some that's high, for some that's low. So anyway, it is what it is. So I set my budget for $100 for Amazon. And then I set my budget for food at about $300 a month. And I made a subcategory for junk food in restaurants. The reason for that is that I could control the restaurant and the junk food stuff, because I know when I spend money in a restaurant specifically, because I have to walk in and spend money or drive through or whatever. So I changed those numbers around, and I got that total amount down. I got that total amount down to, what I say, $300. $300 for food and groceries, at the actual grocery store, and I had another $100 for restaurant and junk food. At this point, I have already saved quite a bit of money. So, what next? Okay, I looked at the categories, and I also had things that I was spending money on that I really needed to cut out completely. Cable TV is a big one. A lot of people swear by their cable But you have 500 channels and you sit there and scroll half the time because you don't know what to watch. I disconnected completely from cable, and just getting internet instead of the full cable package saved me about half of what I was spending. I went from about 125 to about 60 a month on that. Really, the big reason I cut cable is because I got a notice that they were going to increase my monthly rate from 125 to 180. And I called them and told them I was going to disconnect. And they're like, oh no, we'll give you a deal. We'll give you this package, blah, blah, blah. And it'll save you $50. But then it was going to be $135 a month. That didn't save me any money. That was kind of like government spending, if you ask me. So I just cut it and went just to internet and tried some streaming services. And I've been back and forth on all of those, and I have opinions about that, but that's not for this video. And I had some subscriptions to things that I cut out. I had an alarm system that I paid a monthly fee for. I cut that out and just did self-monitoring, because you can get like a Ring doorbell or an off-brand doorbell that monitors your front door, and that also other cameras and stuff around your house that you monitor yourself. It notifies you when there's any activity. You're not paying a monthly subscription. You just pay the one-time fee for it, you know, to buy it, and either you install it or you have somebody else install it, and that's it. So that's what I did with that. Saved myself like $60-something a month. And I had other things that I cut out completely. And I stopped going to the salon to get my hair done. Numerous things that I just cut out completely and started saving money. I sold my motorcycle. That cut out gas for the motorcycle. That cut out insurance for the motorcycle and maintenance. And also I had extra money because I sold it, and I was able to pay on another debt that I needed to pay off. So sorry, something is kicking up my allergies here. And so this is just the first part of this. My next video, I'm going to go into detail on creating a budget for the future, because it can get overwhelming. And if my video has overwhelmed you already, I would say the first thing that you need to start with is just go back and look at your money that you've spent in the past and write it down and look at it. Just look at it. Sometimes that physical look makes way more sense to you than having it all in your head and not really knowing where your money is going. And because it really does make a difference. So I'm going to sign off now. I hope this has helped, and I'll be putting out another video soon on the actual budgeting process. Thanks.